Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday's Talking Town, the flagship podcast. I am, of course, your host, The Gov. Looking forward to the next 60 minutes of Ipswich Town discussion before the world goes into World Cup overdrive. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It seems to be very little expectation, anticipation, excitement for that. Let me know in the live chat. But we're here to discuss what was yesterday a dominant 2-0 away performance live on the Sky cameras, putting the Sky curse firmly to bed, if there ever was such a thing. Now, we can invite you to get involved one of many ways. The first way is obviously our live chat, as John Beers has put good afternoon all, as Anthony still has as well. Ben Hobbs, Stephen Perry, lots in the live chat. Or, of course, you can leave a comment if you're watching on catch up. You can do a 5-star review if you're listening on an audio platform. Howdy, good afternoon, or morning, or evening, whenever you're listening to my voice right now. Or if you're live, you can, of course, click the link and get involved. I'll drop the link at some point. There's no cruncher today, so it may come a little bit earlier. Depends on what Matt Phillips has to say about yesterday's dominance. But yes, there are your ways you can get involved. Good afternoon, Richard Charnel. I hope you're well. Lee Brown says, afternoon, everyone. Good win yesterday. Very professional. Burgess, man of the match for Lee. He made all of the difference. Obviously, Harness was given man of the match by Sky, I believe. Also by the live match reaction community yesterday on yesterday's show. Do jump back and watch that. Over 1,000 of you have already done so. Richard Chandler, some of Humphreys and Morsey's passes were outstanding. Yeah, lovely midfield performance from the pair of them. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit subscribe, get involved. It is your community. It's for fans, by fans. Let's get cracking with
the Media Mogul. We've just lost the teenagers. It's absolutely embarrassing.
Matt Phillips. Matty Phillips, here he is.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. How you doing?
I'm very well. Looking forward to pulling apart a dominant display on Sky.
Yeah, unbelievable. We've turned the corner on Sky now, haven't we?
We have.
Those cameras don't cause us any concerns anymore.
No,
It's
amazing what happens when you get decent players.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I had a little flashback to old Ipswich because we've been down Chelmsford Museum today for school homework, and we had to go into the Dark Ages section. I'm sure, you got the mannequins are up. I'm sure I saw Marcus Evans, Paul Hurst, Lambert. Oh, if the light just hit it right, I was like, oh. But
he can't afford to be in Chelmsford Museum, I would have thought, after losing all that money on Ipswich. Sorry, he's what?
It's a good museum, by the way. I've been in there for about 30 years. It's very good.
Ipswich have one. I've never actually been.
Yes. My wife and son have been in there as well. They say it's a bit weird. It's like lots of taxidermy, and it's very Victorian era looking inside.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't realise.
I think it's closed for refurbishments because we did look again there as well at some point. But
Yeah,
there we go.
fair enough.
Stick around for more museums. Only on this
museums.
yeah.
We'll do some World Cup talk towards the end of the show as well. I've got no doubt about that. That's coming up 4 p.m. today. Qatar, Ecuador. Big game.
Mouth watering, isn't it?
Big game. Absolutely huge game. Huge game in the world stakes. But first of all, Town Exeter live on Sky. What before we get into the specifics, the detail, the minutiae of each player, overall thoughts coming out of the display.
Well, my overall thoughts was I was having a bit of a flap on Friday when I thought it was going to be really difficult. Again, here I am overestimating the opposition, which I did with Shrewsbury, and thought that would be 1-1. And I said Friday night, and we won that 3-0. Then I said Friday night, oh God, I think off the back of their Peterborough performance and a late winner they got to win 3-2, I thought, with us going through that little bit of a, not losing games particularly, but having little blips in defence, I thought it might bite us on the backside, but it didn't. It was quite a comfortable win in the end, wasn't it? 2-0. That's Exeter certainly like a team that's come off the back of a 3-2 win over a side in the Championship last season, did they? It was whether or not the 12 o'clock kickoff made the atmosphere a bit flat. You thought it was flat, didn't you? You text me and you said
I thought it was so flat. So and I know you said the stadium itself doesn't lend itself to that atmosphere and etc. But it just felt like everyone was half asleep.
Yeah, I don't think 12 o'clock kickoffs help in that respect. It's a funny stadium at St James's Park, isn't it? Because they got that huge stand behind one of the goals, Then you've got the Ipswich fans tucked away in that little sort of shed behind
half
the
a
goal.
stand along the side of the pitch.
Half
And
stand
then,
on the side. I don't know what the camera side was like. Rich will be able to tell us if he makes the show. But yeah, so that makes it quite a difficult atmosphere for Town to try and, actually get into that mindset of we've got to get the 3 points here. But we did it quite comfortably. Certainly Plymouth, Exeter didn't look like the team that played at Plymouth, albeit in different circumstances. It's a derby, isn't it? And they led twice and ended up losing. But they looked a shadow of that side, I thought, yesterday. But there we go. Again, we've negotiated a difficult away trip. Like I say, I thought it would be difficult off the back of Peterborough.
you did.
It really wasn't.
You did. They changed their style, didn't they? Didn't they? They gave us too much respect.
Maybe. Yeah, because they said, didn't they, that they've added extra midfielder in, didn't they? Was Kite, was it?
Yes,
I think they put him in. Maybe they did. Maybe it's nice to see people having to change their formation around for us, isn't it? For once. But certainly it comes back to this conundrum, doesn't it? Look, we've been saying this before, haven't we? The Cheltenham game, the Lincoln game, 60 shots combined. What was it? 1 goal. Yet away from home, where where I thought Danny Kelly was good in the Sky studio, and he said the impetus is a little bit more on the home side to press forward, plays into his hands a bit more, because they'll come to Bournemouth Road and just defend as we keep seeing, and teams seem to do that quite well against us. But at home, where there's a bit more of a expectation that they can put in their performance against us, it plays into our hands a bit. And look, within minutes, Harness not cushioned it, as you nicely called it.
Cushioned assist. It was beautiful, wasn't it?
And the Depot headed home. And look, we didn't look like we were going to do that at all last week in the second half, did we?
No.
We'd still be here now, I think, at Paul Road playing Cheltenham. But within minutes, we're well up. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they called us the best team on the ball. I think the Exeter management, which lends itself into that respect that they were clearly showing us. I know you've got a load of fans on social media after the game saying how we're the greatest team they've seen, which I don't know if that's a little bit of a dig at Plymouth or if it's genuine or whatever. But it's nice to obviously see away home fans as they were, but away to us obviously saying that about your football team, isn't it? That this is the best team that they've seen.
Yeah, but listen, we're Ipswich Town fans, aren't we? We think our name carries that weight anyway, certainly in the third tier. As they were saying, 20 years ago, when we were playing in Europe, they were in the non-league, Exeter. And again, that's, we always say this, don't we? We slip down, they come up, and we meet in the middle, annoyingly. But good for them. But it is nice to see people actually seeing Ipswich as a force, and we're proving it in the league now. We're second. Burton did us a favour yesterday, didn't they? Cut the lead down to 2 points. We've got Sheffield Wednesday breathing down our neck, as we probably expected. But certainly seems like it's broken away a little bit now, doesn't it, the league table?
Yeah,
and on cue, Martin puts the league table up.
I do. There you go. See, there we go. We've got Plymouth in first, obviously 43, Town in second on 41, Wednesday in third on 40, then Peterborough in fourth on 31, along with Bolton in fifth on 31. So is that gap starting to open up, Matt?
It is opening
where,
up, isn't it?
it's almost a 3-team table, and
it is.
the rest are fighting for the playoffs at this point.
Yeah. It's still quite tight, isn't it, as you go down to mid-table? Only 6 points between fourth and probably what's looking like 13th there, if you're listening to this. But look at Plymouth. Bloody hell. They're 12 points clear of Peterborough in fourth. But
I'm not a fan of tables like that. And I'll tell you why, right? Because if that carries itself on, as a fan that's currently of a team sitting second, you think this is brilliant. You're that many points clear of fourth, really good. The issue is if that carries itself on to the end of the season, we've seen this, albeit in the Championship in the late 90s, the team that finishes third is going to be on such a downward, we finished third. We finished what could be 15 points ahead of fourth. That you see it quite often. I remember Bradford in the late 90s, Matt. They pipped us. They went up, sent us a card saying, we'll see you when you get there. And we know what happened in the playoffs. Because it's such a downer, isn't it? It's a Debbie Downer that if you finish, even if it ended today, 11 points you would finish above Peterborough, 10 points, 9 points. That's a big gap, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think this season we did go to the Premier League. We finished third, didn't we?
We did.
And got promoted. But I think that was one of the first times the team that had finished third had actually been promoted. I think that record has improved over the years, but certainly we're under Joe Royal when we finished third and should have been promoted second. We lost to West Ham in the playoffs, didn't we? But again, it comes down to that mindset, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? You still think if you're sitting down feeling sorry for yourself, You're going to get,
isn't it? Isn't that natural? If you're that many, like, if it's that many points, it should be a rule where if it's 10 or more points, if you get the playoffs, mate, because Barnsley don't deserve to be anywhere near us if we were in the play. If it ended today, I was looking at it this morning, thinking I'm not a fan of league tables that have that sort of huge gap, because you end up possibly falling into the playoffs and facing teams that you ended up, 4, 5, 6 wins over.
Yeah. Well, bloody hell, we lost the title. It was Colin would say in 81 to Villa, beat them twice, home and away. Yeah,
there you go.
I think with Town, it's all we're looking at this mindset thing now. We've come over this Cheltenham thing, Cheltenham last week, and we've gone to a difficult away place, and we've actually put in a quite a good performance. Although Sky said maybe not as dominant as what we've been in previous games, but we have shown that setbacks are not going to cast a shadow a little bit over our season or forthcoming games, because we could have gone on a losing blip after Cheltenham. In bloody hell, what a blow that was for everybody. We was all on the floor, but we're still not losing games, which is a bonus, isn't it? After something off the back of that,
it is. Yeah,
and the win yesterday.
Darryl said we're going to get days like Lincoln and Cheltenham this season. That's League One. Key is keep calm and trust the process, not to overreact. Yeah, you see, I don't think we should get games against Lincoln and Cheltenham. I don't mind games against Wednesday where you have, I don't know, 12 shots, not even 30 shots, and don't score. I'm still in the mindset, I want to see Lincoln. Plymouth. Sorry, had a game yesterday, Burton last minute, but they were leading that game. There's a difference between leading the game right into the last minute than there is conceding a goal in the first half and then huffing puffing for 70 odd.
Yeah, they were losing, weren't they? And came back to 2-1.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Again, but they were away from home, weren't they? But we've seen the red wall with Cheltenham and Lincoln this season, and it's been really difficult for us to break down. And I I agree with Darryl. I don't think we've seen the last of that, because I think if you're a team scrambling for points, a point at Bournemouth is going to be really good. But again, we saw it with Cheltenham. It should have been 5 really for us. We conceded a daft goal, and then that gave them something to hang on to. The trick is to go 2 up, isn't it? Like we did yesterday, I think. Yeah, because you don't give. With Cambridge again, they were playing that quite nicely. And then was it Edwards' kind of fluky goal got a soft mark, and great finish.
He made it.
It's a fluke. And then the floodgates opened, didn't they? And that's the key, I think. If you can do that a little bit earlier, that was late in the game. If you could do that earlier, like we should have really done against Cheltenham last week, I think we would have got a cricket score. But at the end of the day, it finished 1-1.
Enough quality in the team, though, to put teams like Lincoln.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Plymouth, to me, are a team that if they could have games like that against Lincoln and Cheltenham, and their fans would still be very happy, because they're a team that's a little bit, no disrespect, punching above their weight in terms of expectation.
100%,
We've got, Marcus Hunt just say creating a goal and scoring a goal. He cost a fair whack in League One terms.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he weren't a walk on where he's like, oh, here's my boots. Can I have a game? Oh, he's actually quite good, this guy.
Well, we beat Championship clubs to sign him.
Exactly.
And beat their wages to sign him. And with that, as we said Friday night, with that comes this big expectation now. So we Ipswich fans are finally expecting these results. Do you know what I mean? Which is why it's such a blow when we don't get them at home. But I do think it's a very different scenario, because like Exeter, they play a good game. They're well known for their passing game. You've got that Giovanni Brown. He's a decent player, and they probably thought we'd beaten people. We can have a good go at Ipswich here. But yeah, the quality did shine out in the end, and you do expect your likes of your Ladapos and your Harnesses and all those kind of guys to show it. But I just still think it's difficult at home when you've got a team there actively not trying to win the game. It's quite easy to defend against the team, but like you say, to keep your shape. And these teams in League One seem to do that quite well. And then you get the shithousing and the going down with the cramp, and then going down on the touchline, and it eats up the time. And they're good at it in League One. They're good at it.
Yeah, we're good at it in any level, but particularly in this division, it would seem. We do need to win more of our home games if we're looking at automatic promotion.
Absolutely.
Expectation is good, but realistic too. We will have blips. Colin Plum, Town top Wednesday second for me. What I've learned sitting in this chair, Matt, over the last 2 and a bit years, however long we've been doing this, is football fans are the most wildest, passionate, emotional human beings on the face of God's green earth. Because when we lose, We ain't even making the playoffs. When we win, we're winning the league by Christmas. 100 points, 100 goals. Like we rarely get this little where it's in, and I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it because I just smother myself in the good emotion and wallow myself in the bad emotion, and I just feel it every inch of it as well. It's brilliant.
Them for a bit like a wasp when you're trying to eat your dinner outside, don't they? They keep buzzing, bugger off. Do you know what I mean? I mean, fair play to them. I'm right. You're right. They are punching above their weight with an inexperienced manager. We haven't got much budget, and they're doing a good job. And again, they had disappointment last season, didn't they? They fell out of the playoffs right at the death, and they've been in there for 45 games, and they've bounced back. So I mean, fair play to them. So I mean, the league table will bear itself out in the end. Whether Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday have shown they're good enough over 46 games to be in the top two, we'll find out. I feel like nearly 50 games is enough to say who's the best teams in the division. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I do feel, looking at the league table, before we go on to individual players, I do feel looking at the league table that currently, it is going to be one of those top three. I don't see the rest of the teams being consistent enough to put together a good solid run of games to threaten the three of us, and us being inconsistent enough. Because if you look at the top three, that's what really separates them from the rest of the division. It's that consistency of not getting beat. You might have good results. You might have disappointing results like like Cheltenham. But it's not getting beat that really is going to keep you where you are.
That's why looking at Peterborough there, look at that, 110, drawn 1 and lost 8. So there's been draws there that have turned into defeats. But you'd imagine they would have the Exeter last week being one of them. But you'd imagine they've got the firepower there, certainly with Marriott and Clark Harris to keep down our neck a little bit. I think we'll find out soon. They come on December the 10th, don't they? We'll see what they're like.
It's that old age, thing, isn't it? Where if you've got 2 games, if you win one, draw one, that's 4 points. If you win one, lose one, it's 3 points. So you got one more point than, just for converting that win into a draw or a defeat into a draw. So, I just, I don't know. But then again, it could. I remember. I'm old enough to remember, Matt, when I said on New Year's Day, we're 12 points ahead of Norwich under Mick. They can't catch us. We don't lose more than 3 games in a row under Mick. Never have we done that.
Were you one of these mind the gap people?
Yes, actually, I was. Mind the gap between Ipswich Town and Norwich. I don't
think that would happen now. I'd like to think that won't happen now.
They're worried that if we played them now, we'd stuff them.
I think we'd give them a good game, don't you think? It's only a Carrow Road, we would. They'd come and defend it, Pullman Road, would they not?
Yeah, that's true. Cramp City. Lewis Robinson, as I said the other day, we should enjoy this. It's different from previous seasons, having played around us, bar posh. No team has outplayed us. Nothing to fear. We have to believe. Look, this is what me and Mike were telling you all under Paul Cook. This is what this squad is capable of with a decent, put together tactical approach.
It's funny you should say that, actually, because I was like, think of myself, when they were saying the players' names yesterday, Walton, Burgess, Taborzi, blah blah blah. I was thinking these are all Cook signings, aren't they?
Hey, most of them are.
yeah, absolutely.
It was all about the detail and the game plan and the approach and luck in some cases, of course. But this is what people like Mike were sort of banging the drum early doors about. This squad is capable of this.
Yeah, I think with Cook, it didn't work out, did it? I thought it'd be really good for us. I still think Danny Cowley could be in Ipswich management. That's another conversation. But I mean, I certainly don't think we'd have seen the likes of Walton, Morsey, Chaplin come to Ipswich in the first place if they hadn't had that prior relationship with him. I mean, we had Connor on the show, didn't we? And he said that was a big pull, wasn't it, to work with Paul Cook again. But for whatever reason, that just turned out to be the bridge between the Paul Lambert era and the McKenna era, weirdly. But sometimes football works out like this, doesn't it? It's weird.
It does. Obviously, Burgess came into the side yesterday. What were your thoughts on the man mountain?
Brilliant. Well, I've got Edmondson question mark here on my pad. Where does that leave him now? Because that was a great performance from Burgess. Are we thinking that McKenna thought the fact that they scored from that right side, their attacking right side last week, Cheltenham, maybe maybe Edmondson had the finger pointed a little bit behind closed doors? I don't know. Maybe they felt like we should toughen up on that left side of the three. But Edmondson, Burgess certainly did very well yesterday with his mask on. And that makes me wonder, is Edmondson now the fourth choice in that back, Fred? Probably is he not?
Probably is. Yeah. He probably is. To be honest. Yeah.
I think he's going to have to wait for an injury now to get back in now.
You see, it's weird, isn't it? Because in reality, I don't think Burgess truly suits what we want to do with our centre halves in terms of how we play out from the back into with that ball playing ability. But in the other side of that, you don't too much of something makes you sick. And Burgess is your traditional clear your lines, play the channel, get up the field, and you need that in a team of ball players. And I think it's great to have two ball playing defenders, but actually it's also good to have one that can play like Wolfie, who comes out of the back, looks like a prime Sol Campbell in World Cup '98, stepping through the heart of the Argentinian defence and playing like the player that he was.
Nostalgic.
But also Burgess, like yesterday, 2-0 up, 70 odd minutes, brings the ball down, puts it straight down the channel for the striker, team steps up. You need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're not giving Burgess enough credit there. You might remember when he played, was it left back? Did he go to at Wickham that time?
Yes, he did. Yeah,
Did he play left wing back in the FA Cup game? Was it Oldham or Barrow or one of them, wasn't it? So I think he's more comfortable on the ball than you'd recognise. I think it's interesting, isn't it? Ever since
not Herman though, is he? He's not a big man like Herman, where you think this is a Rolls Royce.
I used to love that ball from Gardso to Heriderson.
Yes.
If you was like my height as a right back, you'd be going, "Oh my god!"
Great player, Gardso.
Yeah. Herman Heriderson tearing down on you. But it's interesting since ball's out the side and Humphreys has come in. I'm right in thinking this that Morsey and him have now swapped, haven't they? Now Morsey's on the right side and Humphreys has gone to the left. So maybe that helps Burgess a little bit in that you get the ball out from the keeper and he can give it straight to someone who's really comfortable on the ball and the attack can start from there.
They were more disciplined themselves yesterday, I thought. Morsey and Humphreys really sort of sat in front of the back too, and there wasn't a huge gap like there has been in previous weeks.
Howley said that on Sky, didn't he? He said it morphs between a 3-4-3 and then a 4-2-3-1. He did say that, and you did see elements of that. But I mean, it differs, doesn't it, in and out of possession, I think. But and
that's why JD still has a place, though, I think. Because he offers that flexibility in game where he can go from right back to right centre back without any troubles. Whereas
he does
maybe
do that.
He does. But Wolfie, for example, for people who perhaps would say play Wolfie at right back, then play at George and Burgess. Wolfie's not quite as good at JD at doing that.
No. But then he hasn't had how many games has Janoy Danassian done in that position now? Loads. I mean,
loads. Yeah.
It's the repetition, isn't it? Of being able to play in that position. Very good beard. Came out on the HD screen yesterday. His beard, Janoy's beard. I wonder if he put something in there. It looked great.
It did.
Good. Yeah.
I was saying, while we're on the topic of JD, which wasn't on my pad, but was modern day footballers that talk to their mates like this, get it in the bin.
Do you know where that's come from?
Where's it come from?
With the mitt.
Yeah, but
so you can't work out what the plays are.
Nobody cares that much about your conversation.
Yeah.
To me, it just makes you think, what are they actually talking about that's so sort of highly class sensitive information that they've got to walk off the pitch or walk on or whatever.
Can you imagine talking to people like that in an office?
Can you imagine? Imagine doing a podcast, it's not just those two players. It was Giovanni Brown, I think, and Janoy Danassian that were doing it
all the time. Yeah, see it all the time.
In Premier League, particularly at half time when they're warming up, and it's like.
Yeah, I do agree. I still don't like Janoy going forward, particularly when he gets the ball in that corner of the penalty area and tries to dig it in. Yeah, you said that yesterday. Your nosebleed. The delivery isn't there really, but again, at least that's someone who's willing to get himself into those positions for the team. So I mean, you can't really knock it, can you? But I just wish his delivery was to be a little bit better. But it's not really his game, is it? But he's there anyway.
No, Callie says I can answer that for you, mine. More to do with the sound travelling than covering the words. But what are they talking about? That can't be carried on in the air. I mean, I just don't like modern play.
I think it's really good. Yeah, I agree.
Just talk to each other. We all know your mates off the pitch. We all know, you've probably got a group WhatsApp, where's good for dinner in Exeter or whatever. I don't know. But Lewis, the best two ITFC beers both had initials JD, the Don, and for all his faults on the pitch, Jonathan Douglas. Wow, man could grow a beard. That is a
it wasn't a beard, that. Makes me think now. Then we've got game Tuesday now, haven't we? Again, Portsmouth.
Pizza Cup.
And then we've got the Sunday game against Buxton. Who's going to be playing in midfield for these games? Because we've got what? Morsey, Humphreys, Kamara. That's the three at the moment, isn't it? Is anyone else we can add into that mix?
Well, you could see anybody. I mean, it's neither are what I would call priority opportunities. You know, you could see a young player step up. You could see a change of formation. You could see a player step backwards in terms of, or maybe a harness. Kamara, I think, will probably get 60, 70 minutes if he's got that in his legs.
He must have it in his legs, surely, against bloody Buxton. Surely.
It's 2022, Matt. I mean, you know, I'm hearing reports my £1 million defender can't play more than 70 minutes a game. I mean, he has done recently, I grant you, of course. But when he first signed, it was like, oh, we've got Davis for 17 and bring, Greg Lee on. I'm thinking, I spent £1 million plus on this left back. When he can't go for more than... That's like Rolls Royce going, we'll go 25 miles on the rolls and then we'll do another 20 on the in the Mini Cooper.
It just got me thinking, do you want Humphreys at 19, only made his debut, 3 weeks ago, wherever it was at Port Vale? Do you want him playing 3 games in a week?
No.
Is what will happen with Exeter, Portsmouth and Buxton.
When he went down yesterday, and I tweeted out saying, anyone play centre midfield, send your CV to ITFC, because that's the... if one of them goes down, as the commentator, who I thought was very good yesterday, by the way, kept saying, we've got to keep Morsey on the field, because we've got nobody now until January to step forward. Kamara at a push, but he's not a Morsey type midfielder, is he?
No, he's not, isn't he? No. He could partner Morsey, I think, but you wouldn't want... I don't think you'd want Humphreys and Kamara together. But it just got me thinking there's a bit of a conundrum there, what this side's going to look like over the next 2 games, albeit not league games, of course, but still an opportunity to get to Wembley, an opportunity to get to the 3rd round, and who knows who you might play in that.
Jamie Sousa, that was Jonathan Douglas's best and only quality. I don't know. That performance at Newcastle has yet to be surpassed.
I bet all these people were cheering when he scored.
Scored which one?
I'm trying to think. Did he not score a really perfectly good goal against Norwich one time?
He did. It was ruled off offside. Yeah. There you go. My player of the year candidate, directly after the Needham Market game, Freddie, the big man Ladapo.
Yeah.
Coming good again yesterday. He's looking good, isn't he, now?
Again, I just think like people just see him at Portman Road and go, he looks a bit of a luxury because of the teams we're playing, your Lincolns and your Cheltenhams, and they're just trying to scrabble the point or grab 3 on the counter or whatever, or set piece. And suddenly away from home, he's a completely different player, because suddenly we were able to get the ball into him, and he was Johnny on the spot. Like we said earlier, it was a great header down from Harness, and it was a nice... I thought the keeper should have done better with that, actually, Blackman. I thought he should have done better, because he's sort of headed it under him, hasn't he? But
slow motion didn't do Blackman any favours.
I don't think he did he?
I think in real speed he couldn't, but in slow mo it looked like.
Yeah,
did he save that actually?
Yeah, it was a nice, powerful header, but I mean, he's looking handsome to get, I don't know, 15 goals this season. What's he on now? 7? Am I thinking he's 7? Tell us in the comments. Oh, he's on more than that, is he? Blimey.
Yeah, I think he's on 9 now.
All competitions.
Of course. Big. He's on 7 in terms of league.
Oh, league, right? 7. Yeah.
He's now our top goal scorer. 1 ahead of
in the Papa John's. Yeah,
9. That's a good return for. Yesterday he showed everything at Needham, which made me sit on this platform on the Sunday the day after and say he'll be a Player of the Year candidate. He worked hard. Unlike at Hillsborough, every touch was like a wall. It didn't bounce off him. He just held it. He cushioned it. It stayed with him. Whereas at Hillsborough, he was more like a trampoline. You were hitting it up to him, and he was just bouncing back, and it was like, you've got to work harder up there, Fred. And then the finish, just instinctive finisher, just that header is not thinking about it, just boom, goal, don't move. Great finish.
That's where he earns the money, isn't it? Inside the box. Well, having said that, he scored that worldie against Charlton on the edge of the box. That was a great goal. A match-winning goal they should have been.
Every time he scores, if you look at him, he doesn't really have to know. Look at the goal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a striker, the goal don't move. You know where that goal is. It ain't moving. It's just where you put your shot. And
he certainly seems to be. He's certainly living up to the promise that we thought when he came. But again, I just think the game suits him better away from home, like we say. Just not getting.
Which is weird, because most of the time it's been Jackson away from home.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the other day, like people like slate him and that. Well, that goal he scored it. He's not an instinctive finisher, and I think I probably said that when he hit the post against Derby. But you roll the tape back. That goal against Sheffield Wednesday inside what 2 minutes of the game starting? Brilliant goal. One of the best of the season we've scored so far.
Before I drop a link in the chat and welcome people on to the last half hour of the show, Chaplin, you weren't impressed with him. Let's go for a negative because we've been far too positive for Talking Town. Let's be honest.
Yeah, look,
we need views, damn it.
I feel like I feel like he's just dipped a little bit, Connor. And I really like Connor. He's one of your favourite players, is he not, Connor Chaplin?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Anyone who's been on this show, we like. Let me just say it. And
not everyone. I say no names.
No names. They speak. I'm in trouble. I think the three up top yesterday is my favourite starting three. In all honesty, Harness, Ladapo, Chaplin. But they did make the point yesterday, didn't they? That Chaplin hasn't scored since mid-September. Am I right in thinking that was Barnsley, the Barnsley goal, free kick?
Might have been that. A little bit after that. I think it was, but I'm not quite sure.
Tell us in the comments. Comments. Yeah, I just felt like but maybe he sat back a little bit more yesterday and it allowed Harness to get in those positions a little bit and, score a goal, set one up, get the assist. But Rich was there at the game and he said he thought he did a lot of, and you said this as well, didn't you? He did a lot of work off the ball, which probably goes unnoticed on the cameras. But for me, I really like him. I'd like to see him have more opportunities. He had probably a good heading opportunity, didn't he, inside the first few minutes that went over the bar. As Rich said to me when he was coming home last night, Ipswich just needs a goal again to reignite his confidence a little bit more. But certainly I think Harness, Ladapo and Chaplin, if you see that as Exeter fans, you're going to be thinking, shit, we're in trouble here today. I just hope he can raise his game up a little bit more than he has recently, that's all.
One thing I am looking, I think he does a lot of hard work that goes unnoticed.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Works himself into the ground, gets taken off after a while. But yeah, he needs a goal. He's there to create and score.
Yeah,
and we need a bit of both, particularly the finishing. But I'm looking forward to actually seeing what Jackson looks like with Harness and Chaplin, because he's often played Jackson with John Jules and opted for that speed element. And I've always thought with the technical ability of Chaplin and Harness, and this is not a knock on Big Fred, because as I said earlier, he's my player of the year candidate back as far back as Needham Market. Just interesting to see what Jackson could now do with that technical ability around him of Chaplin and Harness when the opportunity presents itself.
So you'd play Jackson as a centre forward, would you? In the
I would. Yeah, absolutely, I would. But you could also play him out wide on the right as or left as he has been doing. Edwards needs a game. What the guy's got to do at the start, I don't know. If somebody comes on, he changes the game for the better. For the better.
You thought you weren't impressed with Burns yesterday, were you?
Not impressed with Wes Burns yesterday. No. Yeah, look, Wes Burns last year was 10 out of 10. 5 stars. If the World Cup was in the summer like it should have been, he would have gone to the World Cup without a shadow of a doubt.
Agreed.
But he set himself such high standards.
Victim of his own success.
And when you go back and watch the transfer signing show with Nappers, the Fleetwood fan, he said about Wes Burns that he wasn't a great goal scorer, if memory serves me correctly, without looking at the video directly in front of me right now. And I just feel maybe you're getting the Wes Burns that Nappers said we perhaps we're getting when we originally signed him. And, just because you had a good season last year doesn't mean your place in the team is guaranteed. Particularly with Edwards looking good. But Wes Burns is not a name you see on the team sheet and go, he's playing Wes Burns.
Thank God Wes Burns is playing.
So he's one of those at all. It's just rising tide rises all ships, or whatever it is.
Again, we had a huge row about this last week, didn't we? Rich thought some players' positions were safe in the team. I don't think that's a good way. I don't think that's a good way to be, because I just feel like breeds a comfort zone. And if you get into a comfort zone, where's the hunger to progress, to push on, to win this title that we want this season? Certainly Burns is one of the standout players. I think he's a victim of his success this season. Sometimes it's like the difficult second album, isn't it? They say he had a great first season with us, and the second season it's difficult to follow up a little bit. But Edwards is waiting in the wings. He's certainly going to play maybe both games.
You should know.
Coming up. He's a player I thought we should just get rid of. I didn't see what he brought to the team. Now something's clicked with him, and now I call him Eduardo, like Callie does. Get Eduardo on. He ghosts past players. Fantastic.
He's exciting.
I love play. I've said that before on here before. I love players like that. I used to love Dalian. Players that get you on the edge of your seat, Bobby Power. Love players like that. And Edwards is, he's got hallmarks of all of those players. The future is really exciting for him if he can keep it up, because consistency is the thing in it. There's no point just showing us what you've got in 2 or 3 games. If that is now the blueprint for him. Alex Ferguson used to say that to the Man United youngsters. Now you've shown me what you can do at Old Trafford. That is your blueprint. That's the standard you must hit all the time. And Edwards has to do that now. If he does, brilliant, because that's like a new signing to us.
Yeah, and that said, Wes Burns is our leading assist maker with 4. So even the down year, it's the goals I guess you're missing as a fan, because the goals is what wins games. But he's creating chances. So
again, you've got that. I think Leaf's up there as well, isn't he, with assists from corners?
This is just on the league, where we've got. That said, this list doesn't actually include Leif Davis, so that could have been an incorrect stat I just presented to you. So if it is, I do apologise.
Leif is up there as
Here we go, top assist. Yes, he is. Sorry, my mistake. Leif Davis is top with 6. If I pressed the other tab that says top assist, it would have helped me.
Wow.
Wes Burns on 4.
Did Bersant Selena get 6 assists all of last season in everyone's game? That's amazing.
They finally listened to me, Matt. They finally listened to me telling you, put Leif Davis on corners.
Yeah, you did say that.
Mike says, absolutely. How can you push Humphreys out the team for Evans right now? Rich, how can you push Humphreys out the team?
Good afternoon. I've just landed.
How you doing? Tired?
I'm good. Not too bad. Not too bad, mate. Good weekend. Good weekend in Exeter. Good friendly people.
Good city.
Great to stand on the terraces with Hawks yesterday. Brilliant to see him. And it was just a great day, and it was a comfortable victory, wasn't it? Really, let's say that Exeter didn't lay a glove on us, Matt.
They didn't. Absolutely. Yeah, I as you remember Friday, I was thinking it was going to be a bit of a problem, but yeah, absolutely. Were you in that little shed bit, or were you on the side?
We were in the main shed bit, because there was 2 halves of the shed bit. And did you know that they come from Barnet?
Really?
Yeah. And the weird thing was, when everyone was bouncing up and down, like the steps was literally you were moving. The whole stand was like bouncing. But what did I see the comment there, Martin? What was the chat about Humphreys?
A comment that came out of just out of the chat. I don't know what the context behind it is, but Mike says, how can you push Humphreys out of the team for Evans right now?
Well, Lee Evans isn't going to be playing for the next few weeks. So Humphreys, I said on Friday, look,
so let's live in the world of Humphreys continuing to ascend, Evans coming back. So let's live in that world.
I was really impressed with him yesterday, Cameron Humphreys, because Susie come to the game and really enjoyed it. It was her first win. When we were standing there afterwards waiting for the players on the bus, there was this young lady, and she said, "Who's that?" I said, "It's Cameron Humphreys." She said, "He looks about like 12." And he does. He looks so diminutive in stature, but he is an outstanding player, guys. And he is only going to get better by playing games, which he's going to get now. He's going to get a run of games. But when Lee Evans comes to get fit, we can have that conversation then. But at the minute, Lee Evans isn't fit. Cameron Humphreys is fit. I know Martin was a little bit worried. I see the message when he went down first half injured, because we are a bit bare in that. But I thought him and Morsey yesterday they run the show in the midfield, didn't they? Sam Morsey is one of them players. He has so much time on the ball, and he receives it in them tight little areas, and it's like it's glued to his foot, and you can't get the ball. He was my man in the match yesterday. I thought he was outstanding, Morsey, but he wasn't the only one, because I thought Cameron Burgess had a really, really good game again. I think when he plays, we win, don't we? I see the stat last night. I think it's all W's if you look at him. They give it's a harness, I think, Sky, didn't they? Obviously for the lovely assist and the goal, which was probably what you're going to get. And you could have people sometimes have a poor game, they get the match winner, and TV always give them the man of the match award. But it was a from your goalkeeper to your centre forward, Martin, yesterday, it was a really good, solid away performance. Like I said Friday, what we need to get back to getting them clean sheets as well. And we looked pretty comfortable, didn't we? Apart from, there was a little spell, probably about 10 minutes in the first half. We scored that goal. We were so comfortable. But I think sometimes it gets too easy for us, and we sort of take the foot off the gas a little bit. Instead of, when we got that first goal, it's like, go and get another goal then. Go and get another goal, because they were really there for the taking, I thought. But look, at the end of the day, we've won 2-0 away from home. Plymouth have dropped points, so it's probably like the perfect the perfect weekend, isn't it? If you look now at Peterborough in fourth, Martin, what are they on? How many are they? 11 behind us, fourth place.
They're in 31. Yeah, they're in
31
31.
So there's that gap growing. It'll be 2 out of the 3, and it's just keep that level of performance. I know we go to 2 cup games now. Probably going to change the team a little bit. I think Leif Davis, he's got a bit of a hamstring, so he's obviously not going to be involved. I spoke to Greg Lee after the game. I said, when you're back? And he said, probably Tuesday, which is good. His timing could be impeccable that he's come back to fitness, because he's going to get some game time now, and he could be needed. They're all going to be needed in the run up to Christmas. We've got all these cup games. We've got a lot of league games. We've all just got to stay fit, and it's a squad game, and they're all going to get minutes. But I thought yesterday it was pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Who was your man of the match then?
Sam Morsey.
So you gave it small.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding, Martin.
He was.
I think he's our leader, and he just sets the standard. But there was probably a number yesterday you could give it to. Really, it wasn't just Sam Morsey. Burgess, Harness. I didn't think Chaplin had a great game. I thought he was quite quiet. He needs a goal, so I might play him on Tuesday or Sunday. He needs to get back on that goal trail, because I think Harness, that was his first goal for a while, wasn't it? How can you give someone like Marcus Harness, Martin, a free header 6 yards out? I do not understand that.
They went to sleep.
They did.
They firmly went to sleep.
We also need to give a shout out, because if you watch Friday's show, Rich correctly said it'd be 2-0, having consulted the Ivan Toney Panini sticker. That's got to be a regular thing now, Rich. People want to make some money.
To consult that for every league game.
Yeah.
Set pieces. I think it's from we're one of the best in the division now. What are your thoughts on that, Rich? Before we bring in somebody.
Well, we sort of debated, didn't we? This sort of last season. What was it, Martin? 200 odd corners, and I think was it one goal. Whereas now
it was awful. We
are I think you need to take credit. You did say put Leif Davis on corners.
He did. He's not got the guts for nothing.
It's as simple as that, mate. Do you know what I mean? Just get a decent delivery, and suddenly what happens?
But it is about delivery. You put good balls in the box, but if you give people like Harness a free header 6 yards out, I mean, that's basic on a Sunday morning, Martin. If you were managing a team there, you'd probably say to your centre half, "What were you doing there?" You've gone to sleep, and that killed the game, didn't it? Yesterday, it was always getting that second goal. It was always. Really, after half time, they were going to come out and have a bit of a go. They were attacking their end with all their fans behind. And it was like, you might have to weather 10, 15 minutes. But in the end, it was 2-0, and it probably could have been more. Their keeper done a good save from Ladapo, didn't he? I think Humphreys had a good shot. He turned over. But it was a standard victory away from home that if you're going to get promoted, Martin, you're going to places like Exeter, who, look, by the way, they're not going to be judged on a performance against Town at home, because they were probably going to be one of the strugglers. I think did we all have them in our bottom 4?
Probably.
When we done the predictions?
I think we did, yeah.
And they're going to be comfortable. They'll be comfortable sort of mid-table this season, and they've done really well so far. I think they're 9th, 10th. So I was a little bit disappointed in them. I thought they would have more of a go. They sort of took a striker out and played an extra midfielder yesterday, didn't they? So they were probably trying to combat Town, which look, if you want to try that against Ipswich, fair play. But I think in the end, 9 times out of 10, Martin, you go to places like Exeter. If you want to get promoted, you have to turn them over. It's nice now. We've got a little break, 2 cup games, and then you come to Fleetwood at home on the Friday night. And that should be 3 points. Do Plymouth play on that Friday, or do Plymouth play on that Saturday? Because we could probably go top of the table that night.
Yeah, good point.
They're not playing.
Well, Martin's looking it up, Rich. Behind that stand you were in, was that just the street? So if the balls are going over the stand, they're just going down the street?
Just houses out there.
Like the kids nicking the footballs.
Is it the second?
Yeah.
They play on Friday night against Port Vale.
Well, is it at home? Yeah, you'd expect them to beat them. They're strong at home. But if you look at the league, look at yesterday, Sheffield Wednesday 1-0 against Shrewsbury. None of these games are easy. If you take your eye off the ball for a second, you're probably going to end up with either a draw or a defeat, So it's nice that we've made that little gap up yesterday, because it was a game where you'd expect Plymouth to go to Burton. I expected them to win. When it was 1-0 at half time, I thought they'll probably turn that game round and win 2-1, and they were 2-1 up. And then obviously they scored, 90 plus 7 minutes?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But we don't really need to worry what these other teams are doing. All we need to do is Worry what we're
Game.
doing. And if we keep winning games, we keep performing like we did yesterday, in May or April, we will get out of this division, because I think you've got the pundits I've seen, like Exeter fans on the socials, saying Ipswich are the best team in this league. And if you finish above Town, you'll get promoted. So hopefully we'll be lifting that trophy in May. And whoever's second, is it Sheffield Wednesday, is it Plymouth? I don't really care.
No, exactly.
Danny Cowley said that.
Hey, we say?
Danny Cowley said that on Sky yesterday. If you finish above Ipswich, you're going to be promoted, which is quite a compliment.
Well, also, I used to see Matt Phillips saying that Danny Cowley will manage Town one day, Martin. When's that going to happen?
I'm going to get him a Danny Cowley poster. He fucking loves him. Danny Cowley this, Danny Cowley that. If you played a drinking game at home, Danny Cowley is the word. Just down a shot.
I saw Danny Cowley for Concord Rangers, so we go way back.
No, if he weren't from Essex, you wouldn't give a shit. Don't pretend. It's because he's from Essex.
Love it.
Representing. Listen to it. Just for context, Wednesday play on the Saturday at 12:30.
Okay. Who are they playing that day?
Derby away.
Ooh.
See, that's a tough game for them. You know, Derby, I think, just down they're sort of, I think they're in the last playoff spot now. So that's a potential game that they could drop points. We just need to do our own job, you know, and hopefully on Tuesday, hopefully when we play Tuesday, it's Pompey. I don't know what sort of team we'll have out because we've got injuries. So we'll have to play a fairly decent team, I think. But I hope we win Tuesday. Just get that winning mentality, Martin. Keep winning games, you know?
Yeah, right.
We want to go to Wembley. We want to go to Wembley in March.
We do. We want a trip. We want to be on Wembley Way / Olympic Way.
I wouldn't mind not seeing Wembley at all this year. Just give me the top two. That's all I care about. All I care about.
I want a double. We want a double.
Yeah, I'll save Wembley for the Championship playoff final. There you go.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, you never know that. You never know. Look, if we get out of this league and it's all about you've seen teams before. You've seen teams before who've had momentum, and at the minute, look. Everything about the club's positive, you know. So, just keep that positivity going.
Yeah,
all right. 15. Let's go. Let's bring in some new voices. We'll start with Stephen Parry, FCA representative.
All right,
how are you?
Hi, my friends. How are we all doing?
Very well. You good? You enjoy it?
Yeah. Always. It was fantastic. The free Heineken and everything. All right, Rich. How you doing, mate?
You look a bit more sober than when I see you on Wednesday night.
I've been at a party last night as well. I'm knackered.
Right then,
wife met my birthday, so that's why I couldn't join the pod last night. It was like, no, at the end of the game yesterday was, I watched it before I went out, and it was like, it was comfortable without being too comfortable, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and we did everything at the right times. We scored early. That made them reassess and probably have to change what they were doing. And then just as it looked like they were trying to take over second half, we scored again, and that really killed it. You know, they didn't know what to do. They'd made all the changes. They didn't really know what to do after that. So I think it was a perfect all-round game. And I'm a big fan of George Edmondson, but I think that Cameron Burgess being back there did make a huge difference. You know, anything came in the box, his head was on it. You know, George isn't that sort of player. I think it's like George, Janoy, and Wolf for the other two spots. You know, you could argue one would be a wide right back with coming into centre back. They could probably both play that role. So I think it's those three for them two spots, and right now it's Burgess for the left centre back spot. You know, because there is a point to we've got too many ball players, and sometimes if they're all playing ball and they haven't got the mindset to just, well, let's just clear the ball, it's easier. Like even right at the death, the ball was in our box and Edwards just booted it downfield. It weren't going to no one, but that's what we need to have, that mindset now and again. Stop leaving the ball bouncing around in your box where someone can just pick it off you and then tap it in the net. Just boot it downfield where they can't do any damage with it. And I loved it when Edwards did that right at the death. I'm thinking like, we're 2-0 up. Let's not take a risk of having another Barnsley. Let's boot it downfield and let's let them, start again from the back, and it gives us the opportunity to break down the move. And it did do. You know, so we need more of that, and that's why I'm beginning to think Burgess is probably the better person. Even though I like Edmondson, and I think when we go up, and I'll say when we go up, because looking at the way we're playing, I don't see anything. Probably Sheffield Wednesday is the only team I could, Plymouth at top. I'll give them that. I still think Plymouth's away form is going to damage them hugely, because they seem to have a really big problem travelling. I do think them Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth games at our patch will be huge. I think they will make massive differences then, because they're coming up within before February, both of them. So
you're right.
that could decide the league. That we've already got a massive gap between fourth, and what we know last year how hard it is to gain them points, especially if you're going into the game knowing you've got to win, and we had that last year and we couldn't do it. And it seems like a lot of these teams couldn't do it. Plymouth drew again. Portsmouth drew again. Derby drew again. Peterborough, did they draw? They're all dropping points, and they just seem to want to go into the game wanting to win, like we did last season, and falling short. And let's not underestimate the games like Exeter. Beating Exeter away, they will pose a lot of these top teams problems. Plymouth, they struggled to beat them. They've already beaten Peterborough. Some of these top teams will struggle against these teams. We saw Plymouth have a bad game against Burton. Roland Mariappa, I think, was his first goal in 6 years. These happen. Everyone, rightly so, everybody jumped on the fact that we drew with Cheltenham last week. But everyone's going to do that. Plymouth drew at Burton at the bottom of the table. Everyone's going to do it. Nobody expected Burton to be winning that game, but they did. And I think they were lucky to concede the penalty, to be honest. It's a bit lazy, a bit of a stupid tackle, but that would Plymouth the only way back in the game, a penalty. And they seem to be getting that look right now. Sooner or later, that luck's going to stop, because luck always does even itself out over the season. And like Sheffield Wednesday, Shrewsbury at the post, that would have been a draw. That luck doesn't go for you all the time, and sometimes they're going to have bad results because of it. And we need to then benefit from them bad results. This week we did. Next week I hope we do. We should beat Fleetwood. I think Vale's going to be more of a test than what Plymouth actually think they will, because they're not a bad side, Vale, and they played well again yesterday. So I think they could struggle at Vale, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah, Stephen, we love you. We appreciate you. Look after yourself. Go on, Matt. What are you going to say there? Sorry, I
was going to say that good point Steve made about the Sheffield Wednesday Plymouth games at home. You've got to think they're going to change. They're going to be on Sky, I reckon. They could become Friday nighters or Sunday or something.
That means you won't be there then.
The big ones, I'll be there.
Oh, he's picking and choosing now, isn't he?
Of course he is. Of course he is. We've got Peter Blost again says A, and Lee says, I'll bring Mr. Chandler in right now. Since KM took over, we're on course for 90 points. That's what Rotherham got last year, Mr. Chandler.
Yeah, I actually think we're going to end up on more than that. How are you guys?
More than that? Tell us why.
What do you reckon? What are you thinking?
Why?
I think we'll be on 50 points come halfway stage.
I think you're right.
And dare I say it, what does that end us up on at the full-time stage? It ends us up on 7 players getting 10 goals, but that's another story.
Ever heard the saying, what goes up at Christmas comes down in the new year?
Yeah.
Is it a risk?
But we've only lost 2 games, and we're nearly at the halfway stage of the season. The season that Plymouth got 107 points, I think it was, they lost 6 all season.
Yeah.
It would take a huge drop off, wouldn't it, to not get into the 90s, I think, off the back of where we are at the moment.
Yeah, I do. I think I can't see that happening.
No, I can't either, particularly, especially with this waveform continuing.
And we've already had loads of injuries compared to what you would expect, like big injuries, like operation injuries. And you can't imagine us getting as many as that second half of the season.
Well, you never know, do you? Who knows what's around the corner, but fingers crossed, you're right.
Not with how our medical team is now, when we used to get hamstring injuries every other week. The old team.
Yeah, absolutely.
True. Who was your stand-up performer from yesterday, Mr. Chandler?
I agree with Crunch. I think it was Morsey. I think he was outstanding yesterday. I think, much as I'd love him to go and be one of my players to get the goals, I think he's outstanding when he drops back a bit.
Are you backtracking there?
No, I don't necessarily think he will be one of my 7, but I still think I'm getting 7.
You said he was. You've changed your mind there.
Doesn't matter.
A selection of 7 players, isn't it? You never actually named who they would be.
No,
he did say Sam Morsey, and he said Wolfenden as well.
He did. So let's just got a bit of feedback, Rich. Let's just clarify what this is for the people that perhaps haven't joined us or aren't aware of it. You said what would happen?
7 players will get 10 goals in the league this season.
10 goals in the league. So currently you've got 3 on 5 or more.
Yeah.
And then the rest are on 3 or 2. So
we'll see. Still plenty of season to go.
I mean,
There's going to be
big
some teams get some real turnovers by us though at some point, because that's coming.
We keep threatening that, and then we never actually end up coming through on it, do we?
Yeah, it should have been Cheltenham last week, wouldn't it? But it didn't transpire.
Cheltenham and Lincoln both could have got absolute hidings, couldn't they? And that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Mr. Chandler, before I let you go and bring in Colin, because we've got 5 minutes left of the 5 or so minutes left of the show. Anything else you want to bring to the pie? We'd love to hear from you.
I just think we're going to play quite a changeable team the next couple of games to give some of the league players a bit more of a rest. David probably dropping out, and I think that's going to be great for the squad. But I think we'll win both games, and I think we'll go through to I think we'll get to Wembley for March as well.
That'd be great. We want.
I hope so, because I'm away in May, so I can't go to Wembley if we make the playoff final, and I'd hate that as well.
Oh, I would.
We want to win the league title. We want to win the Johnson paints. The Pepper Johns. Get that double on.
The auto glass cup. Right, Chandler, look after yourself. We love you. We appreciate you. Colin, from the terrace. Look at these two reunited on the terraces and now reunited on Talking.
All right, Colin. Long journey yesterday, was it?
Hi, Rich. How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm good, thanks.
Good.
Good
journey.
Yeah, journey was fine home. It was fine. Fine down there like yesterday morning, a little bit of a diversion around the M5, but we were there in plenty of time. And I think for about 4.5 hours this morning, there was obviously a message you guys. There was an accident on the M5. We stopped for about half an hour, and then it was a jolly way home. A nice. We had a coffee from one of them. I won't say the name. From one of them places, but yeah, nice trip.
So, Colin, how long were you on the coaches for yesterday? So, what time did you leave?
Actually, it was really good yesterday. We were down there for 9:45. That was with an hour stop.
Wow.
I was actually home, not back to Ipswich, but I was actually home by 8:30.
I'm back going then. No,
that was pretty good. Yeah, so there's a lot of chat on the coach. I took some goodies, like I said to Rich, took some goodies from Andy, bagged them all up, bagged 3 bags, give them to each coach.
Oh,
and Andy said, please distribute them all out, which I did. And everybody had a little bit of goodies kind of thing. So everybody had a great day. But
good stuff.
Yeah, it was a fantastic day. And like Rich says, I mean, I love the Southwest anyway. I go on holiday every year down to Cornwall, and I love the Southwest. And the Devon and Cornwall people they're lovely people. And in the little fans only bit, it was a bit like being in a church hall, so to speak. And they had nice little ciders, and had another bit where they had like beers and that, and they had a place in the corner where they made Cornish pasties and that. But that was really lovely.
Colin,
sorry.
I got a free Cornish pasty after the game. One of the stewards said, "Do you want this?" I said, "Yes, thank you very much." Yeah, lovely it was.
Good lad. You'll never get Do you know, Rich? You'll never ever get a Cornish pasty anywhere in the world like you get in Devon and Cornwall. No, you can stick your shops and everything. You'll never get one.
Cornish pasties, pies, nah, get them in the bin. Not for me.
Anyway, on to the game. I agree. I slightly agree with Rich about Morsey. I thought he had a really good game yesterday. But I thought, and a lot of people have put it in the chat today, and quite rightly, I think Burgess was a colossus yesterday. That boy, I tell you what, I'm so disappointed for him. The fact he got that horrendous injury, because we all know he was playing fantastic at the time, and to come back from that, from having like 30 odd screws in his face.
God, yeah.
He's wearing his I can't think of the word. Wearing his
mask.
And that can't be easy, And what I love about him is that he still shows that commitment. He still gets up there like a butcher, if you like. Still gets up there and bang, with his old head. I love all that. He's a bit old.
He's good,
school.
but he's not Butch, is he? We can't compare him to
passion,
Butch.
isn't he? Showing that same passion and commitment, isn't he? Yeah, absolutely.
Gov, smiling. Can I repeat what I said? A bit like Butch. A bit like Butch. Got that? Right, okay, we'll carry on now. No, he shows so much commitment, that bloke, to the cause.
Great,
and you have players like that in your side, and I've got no worries at all whatsoever about Callie's mate picking that trophy up at the end of the season.
I think
That will be ours. If that was me, I'd take it down the engravers now, put Ipswich on it, because we're the best side in this league. We're the best footballing side in this league by an absolute street. And, you know, we've had, and everybody's been right, Richard has been right, and other people, about the fact that we've had not injuries, we've had horrendous injuries. And if those injuries had happened to Plymouth, they wouldn't even be in the playoff places now. I mean, we've been having them since August, you know, September, October. Horrendous injuries where players have been out for not for days or weeks, they've been out for months. And you laugh all you like, but I'll tell you, when we get all these injuries back, including Sonny, I'll tell you, this squad will absolutely walk this league. And I think, personally, I love Plymouth. I love the area. I think they're a great little squad. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to agree with one or two other people. I think Sheffield Wednesday will probably be the team that has been nearest to the town. I think it'll be Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday probably go up first and second. And Plymouth, hopefully, for me, if any Plymouth fans watching that, I'd love to see Plymouth go up to the playoffs because they're a very, very good side. But I think they will probably be a little bit lacking at the end of the day in depth of squad, in my opinion.
There it is.
Perfect, Colin. Perfect, Colin. We love you. We appreciate you coming on. Are you bothered about one last question? Quick answer. Are you bothered about the Papa John's Cup?
I'll be there on Tuesday night, and I'll be there with Matt and his family, and we're Wembley bound, and let's do like kind of like Colchester did all them years ago, like when they won the conference, and they also won the FA Trophy, didn't they? I remember in that year. Stevie McGavin was playing for them, a good friend of mine, and I think in a different kind of way, I can see a bit of Colchester about this season. I think we'll finish up probably with 2 trophies in our cabinet. I wouldn't be surprised.
Love it, Colin.
Colin, we love you.
The last thing I'd like to say is, Sam, please get in that gym, do a few weights, because you're going to be picking some big trophies up at the end of the season.
Good man. Colin, we love you.
Rich,
We appreciate you.
lastly, Rich, love you, mate. See ya.
up the
There
pod.
you go. There you go. Up. Don't start him again. He's been doing his homework. Great stuff. I had to move you about because I thought this is the before and the after. It's what you want to grow into, Rich, you know, because he goes to every game, you go to every game. You both live and breathe, die at Ipswich Town. I love it.
Yeah, look, I still want to win on Tuesday night. I know what people are saying. It's not the be all and end all, but it's a nice little sidetrack, isn't it? We get to Wembley, and I think the final's in March.
Yeah.
When we get there, I think we'll get there. You imagine the buzz around the club, and we're taking 40-odd thousand, Matt, to Wembley, blue and white, Wembley.
Yeah,
It'll be
show
great.
from Wembley Way. What more? Right, we are back tomorrow, 8:45. Because obviously the World Cup kicks off this evening, so we're back 8:45 tomorrow, not 8:30. The 8:30 show is going to 8:45. It'll be Brandon and Callie joining me. We'll talk a little bit about England, but we'll also reflect more on Exeter.
I think Joe Allen's selection went well for Wales.
Well, what's happened now?
He's out.
He's out already.
Oh. Does that mean Wes might get a call up now?
Let's hope not.
Could do.
Well,
What's his name, isn't it?
I think we could cope without Wesley, but I'd rather
We need everybody. We need everyone at the club.
Yeah, well,
Keep your hammers off Rob Page. You didn't want him in the first place. You don't want him now. Leave him alone.
Yeah, Chancellor's
This is
gone.
it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Who are we going
This is
for
it.
this afternoon? Qatar or Ecuador?
Oh, well, I
I'm not
want to
even
say
gonna watch that game.
I can't say what I'm really thinking because get me in trouble. Who's
When I get back in the kitchen, I'll consult my Ivan Tony sticker, and he can tell me what the score will be.
Yeah.
And then maybe he will turn £5 into 30, Martin. What do you think? Because that man over there certainly won't do, because we're still waiting on him.
Someone told me today that Ecuador to get a penalty had gone from 9-1 to 5-1. That might
This
be
is it. This is where I was sort of heading with. I can't say what I want to say.
Yeah.
I mean,
we know what you're thinking.
After Infantino's, absolute shit show of a speech. I mean, just today,
God.
you're a dick.
Are we watching tomorrow? Will we be watching tomorrow? England, Iran, 1
Of course
p.m.
we will.
Watch
Of course we
England,
will.
yeah. I will watch
I'm
England.
building my son's nap around it. Right, you're going to sleep at 12:30, and you are going to sleep, and then we'll see you at full time. But life don't work like that, does it? So,
Wow.
Well, it's a 1 p.m. kickoff, isn't it?
Good show. We've got us winning a double. Love it. Great win in the bag. Goal on Tuesday.
Yeah. Right, we're done. We're dusted. Mogul, Crunch the Float, flying in to be a part of the proceedings. Hit the join button. Become a Talking Town 5th Standard. We're back tomorrow at 8:45 with love, with care. Hit the like button.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I get blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I felt went crazy from just the thought of you.